Welcome back to Terrific Terry Thursday at Saratoga. After I think we participated in Dana White's other sport yesterday, it wasn't horse racing handicapping. I think it was power slap, as the horses power slapped us around a little bit yesterday. So hopefully today we can put a little chalk, wipe the chalk up off our face, get up off the ground, get back, square up at the podium there. I don't know if you've ever seen that slap off kind of contest that Dana White has there, power slap, and let's maybe smack some of those horses back Blazing Saddle style. Terry, what do you say?
Yeah, I think so. Although I don't care for those slap offs. They just look too violent to me.
It's kind of funny, actually. I think it would be. I don't know. They'll do what people will do for money, right?
That's right. Yeah.
It is what it is. Hey, and if you were a great smacker, wouldn't you want a chance to use that smack to make a few smackaroos?
I wouldn't want to have the smack back, though.
Well, just make sure you go first.
That's right. Knock him down. That's it, huh?
Yeah, just knock the hell out of him, and he'll never want to get back up. I think that's the name of the game. Well, we got knocked down yesterday. Certainly, we're working to get ourselves back up today. Of course, free picks as always. Down in the Bayou today, Terry, at Fairgrounds Racetrack. I know they got a lot of those short races over there. So go check out all those popcorn races. Let's see if we can hit a few speedsters that can run 250 yards faster than my good old friend Robert, who's, I think at one time he had the state record in Pennsylvania for that run. I know he came damn close, but in any case, free picks down there. At the same time, when the show's over, head on over to horseracingtoday.net. Links down in the description. When the show's over, we'll timestamp every race so you can come back and rewatch the show. You'll find a replay at horseracingtoday.net. And while you're there, kindly click on that here, Horse Racing Today gear. 5 days left to get 20% off. To look fantastic. Make sure you get yourself a nice sweatshirt. So cool weather is about to get here, Terry. Maybe that was the reason why we had a tough day yesterday, is that the fall is on its way as the last days of summer count down to Labor Day on Monday. Well, we still got a ways to go before we get there, Terry. So let's go about our business for this terrific Terry Thursday.
All right. It's going to start out at 5.5 furlongs on the turf. It's a maiden race, $80,000 purse for maidens 2-year-olds.
Yes, indeed. And the 5.5 furlong turf races, the profile of a winner favors stalkers, but still 1 out of 4 go gate to wire, straight to the winner's circle without, well, they do pass go and then collect the check. So unlike Monopoly, as far as post positions, they're mostly fair. We do 10,000 simulations. Unfortunately, this is another one of those races, Terry, where a lot of horses making either their first start, second start, incomplete data. So we won't really have our simulations here. So what we will do is just go straight to the good stuff. Who's going to win and why?
Okay, I like the 5 Just to Fly. He ran second in his only start. The breeding suggests he'll like the grass, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and a good 3 furlong workout on August 23rd. Then I like the 8 Correlation. He has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and his dam has 4 winners from 6 starters, 1 turf winner, and a good 3 furlong workout on August 20th. And I like the 3 as my third choice. He was bumped hard at the start of his debut race and finished poorly in that race. So I'm going to kind of excuse that, but he has a high percentage jockey, trainer and jockey, and can improve while trying grass. And then my long shot would be Papa's Nico Boy. He is first-time starter whose breeding suggests he will like the grass. He has a trainer who wins 26% of the 2-year-old races. He has a horse in, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. That's it.
I'm going to begin off with the 1 horse, Sky Masterson. That's the one I'm going to put on top because the last race on turf would be more than good enough for today. Papa's Nico Boy, honestly, that's a first-timer that really doesn't have a whole lot to beat with this crew, so maybe he can beat them all. Number 8, Correlation. Speed and fade in its debut. Keep an eye on those horses, folks, because many times in that second start, they show more stamina with room to be a lot better in the second career start. And then finally, Just to Fly. That was Terry in high school. Went way wide last out. A better start, better positioning should help this horse's chances today. Race number 2, we'll talk about the horses and their chances there, Terry. But first, What are the conditions?
All right. So on race number 2, we're going to go at 7 furlongs, and it's a $16,000 claiming race, and it's for fillies and mares. Oh, purse 40,000 for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upward.
Yeah, 7 furlongs, the kind of horse that gets the job done, does tend to favor early speed a bunch. 35% go wire to wire, so keep an eye on that early speed. There's a little bit of a rail bonus for Awesome Anne Marie. 2 and 3 are penalized. 4 through 7 get a bonus. 8 and out has been bad. So a little bit of an accordion effect there, Terry. We do have our simulations for race number 2. 10,000 simulations to see which horse has the best chance to get the lead. Based upon those simulations, how closely this horse race will match their best performances, putting the horses in their comfort zone, or C zone as we call it. Q30, queering points. We want to see horses that have a score of 30% or more. According to James Quinn, you can bet those horses blindly because they generate a positive ROI. Par plus, boy, a lot of them in here, Terry, have an opportunity to run a speed figure equal to or better than the Brisnet average winning speed figure, which is 83 for this group. And finally, we want value, horses whose simulation odds are lower than post-time odds. Terry, this looks like a pretty open affair right here.
Yeah, it is. It's all the horses show some kind of speed, but the 4 has the most. And then the 4 has an overlay from about 3 to 1 to 6 to 1. The 5 has an overlay from 5 to 2 to 8 to 1. All but the 6 show par plus numbers, and all of them show C zones.
Yeah, it looks like this 4 horse could be a contender to get to the lead and maybe never give it up with that high Q30 score. Let's see if our trip handicapping and pace handicapping tells us the same story. E-horses, they're the ones that want to be on the lead. EPs can be a pilot or co-pilot. Ps are your co-pilots. PCs, they think of them like your flight attendants. They can be anywhere on the plane. These are the folks sitting in coach, your closers. The NC types, so far, they've not been within 5 lengths of the leader. And, of course, you got your first-time starters. Early on, let's see who's going to get the lead. It does look like that 4-horse, Mon Petit Chow, should be on the front. We saw that in the simulation as well with that high Q score. Gold Crest, really not a lot of horses in here with a big difference at the end of the race. So based upon that, I would say middle forward is the place to be, at least at the beginning. The end of the race, the top 4 total pace horses, and well, you got a couple ties down here. These 3 right here look like they stand out from the rest, the 4, the 5, and the 7. Do you have any of those, Terry?
Well, I do. I'm starting out, well, not until a little bit later, but I start with the 3. She caught my eye, and she drops in class today. Her best start speed is fastest among today's starters, and she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. The 7 Gold Crest is my second choice, drops in class today, has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer as well. And then 5, My First Love, finished 3rd versus similar in her last race, and she has a high percentage winning jockey. Then I like the 6 Ribbits Valentine. She drops in class today. She has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 22% of the claiming races that he has a horse in. And then she has a high percentage winning jockey as well. I'm going to play the 1, 2, 3, 4, pick 4, where you pick 4 horses and 3 in one leg, 3 horses in the other leg, 2 horses in the other leg, and 1 horse in the other leg. It doesn't have to go in that order, but that's how you do it. But anyway, I'm going to go with the 3, 5, 6, 7, with the 1, 5, 7, with the 3, 5, with the 8.
I also going to play the 1, 2, 3, 4, pick 4 here, but I'm going to start with a horse, the Mon Petit Chow, I guess. I don't know. Has all that speed, the top C zone. We've seen that combination end up in the winning circle a lot. That Q30 score as well. So let's look for a horse that has the best chance to go wire to wire at a track where it's run 2 times, with a pair of seconds. So maybe today can scoot forward just one pin, Rodney. Those were the best commercials. Remember those old Miller Lite commercials?
Yeah, I do. I absolutely do.
Just one more pin, Rodney. And, of course, he rolls the ball, Rodney Dangerfield, and it hits the pin, and the ball bounces off the pin, and all those giant football players want to kill him.
Yeah.
Great commercials. The best commercials ever, in my opinion. But Goldcrest, the 7-horse, class dropper, 3rd after a layoff. All of the race internals improved last time out. And, of course, the top jockey in New York, Irad Ortiz, is riding today. My First Love, the 5-horse, 3rd start after a layoff. The last time this horse ran a 3-race cycle, the 3rd up was by far the best of the cycle. Same kind of improvement right here. My First Love might call you back. Number 3, she caught my eye. This one has the most back class in the field and is going to drop in class today. 3, 4, 5, 7 with the 1, with the 3, 4, with the 3, 4, 8. Terry, do you still talk with your first love?
Can I? Yeah, I do. I do. I actually do. She lives in Kentucky, and we email back and forth and text back and forth. Yeah, I found her with my wife's help. My wife helped me find her.
Well, that's nice.
Like about 15 years ago, and she was my girlfriend in high school. So it's pretty neat to see how her life turned out. Yeah,
that's pretty interesting. Yeah, I have not talked with mine. I don't know if she wants anything to do with me anymore, but long story. Yeah. Held on to. Anyway, no need to go into that. All right, let's see what's going to happen in race number 1 as they're about to get cooking over there.
Okay.
Maybe I can't get my screen to come up. What in the hell is going on? I think I know why. Hold on one second, folks. I have something that I got to do in my everyday work that requires a dedicated IP address. And whenever.
Hello?
Like the VPNs.
Okay, you there, huh?
What's that?
I lost you for a minute.
Yeah, as I was switching from the VPN, that's why. Because, again, I was saying I have to have a dedicated IP address for one of the things that I do for some of the stuff I do for work.
Yeah.
And whenever I'm on the dedicated IP, none of the betting services want to work. DraftKings, FanDuel, you name it, because they want to know what state you're in.
Yep.
And if your VPN doesn't pinpoint you, so someone can knock on your door, collect your debts, if you know what I mean.
I do.
Then they don't want to deal with you. All right, so race number 1, about to get started for this Thursday, the final weekend of racing at Saratoga. Kind of sad. Summer's gone. Do you have any comments today about any race that you like? Anything that Terry and I say you want further explanation? You just want to laugh at us? You can do that in the comments section. Of course, no matter where you're picking horses, tomorrow myself and Thomas will be picking them at Kentucky Downs. Well, the 4-horse in the first race there is way off the pace. So if you backed Max in FIFO, well, he's going to have to go from last to first. Right now, the 3-horse Replevin is on the lead. He's got the 5 and the 1 to its outside. The 5 is the favorite. Got the 9 involved in the mix too. That first-time starter who didn't appear to have a whole lot to beat. 5-horse right now looks like it's struggling a little bit to keep pace. The 3-horse continues to set the tone, although the 1 and the 9 are giving chase as they go through the turn. 5-horse is really kind of trying to work a little bit. I think the favorite might have a hard time finding the winner's circle today, but you never know how that pans out. Down around the corner they come. It looks like a battle between the 1 and the 3, both of them hanging in there tight. It looks like the 3 might take the race as he's starting to pull away, and the 1-horse is just kind of wild all over the track. If jockey can get him to switch leads, the 1-horse could win, although the 5-horse is aggressively coming up the outside there, and he steals it. 5, 3, 1, 4. 5, 3, 1, and 4 in the opener today at Saratoga.
So my horse won the 5, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And the 5 goes off at 8-5, and then the 3-horse went off at 7-1, and then the 1-horse at 3-1, and the 4-horse at 13-1. So you should get a pretty decent exacta trifecta for the folks who played that. Okay. Race number 3 is what we'll do next, Terry, in the 11-race card. What are we racing for?
Okay, it's a 6.5 furlongs, and it's an allowance race, $95,000 purse for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, and that are foaled in New York State and approved by the New York State Registry, which have never won $20,000 other than maiden, claim, or starter, or which have never won 2 races.
Yeah, at 6.5 furlongs, this is where speed really matters. 41% of the time, the horse that gets to the lead also wins the race. There's an outside to inside bias. The rail stinks, so beware that 1-to-1 evaluation might have a hard time overcoming that bad rail bias. In the third race, Terry, speed 41% of the time goes wire to wire, and it looks like 3 of them will have a go at that wire to wire effort.
That's right. The two 7 and 1 have all the speed in the world, and well, not a lot of speed, but they have very comparable speed to each other. So it's an anyone guess's race. The 2 has an overlay from about 2-1 to 7-2, and the 7's overlay is 3-1 to 4-1. All but the 6 show par plus numbers, and all of them show C zones.
Another couple high front runners with high Q30 scores. Just looking at this, it looks like the pace could be really hot. So maybe a little bit of late speed could be of use here. In the third race, the 2 and the 5 might be lead dependent. Everybody else can be a little bit more patient. At the start of the race, it does look like the 2 horse going to be up there on the front along with Sweet Anniversary. The 1 horse that 1-to-1 shot with the bad post position could maybe save some ground. Irad get that horse to a good stalking spot. The end of the race evaluation, a little bit faster than Sweet Anniversary. Those 2 just about a tie in terms of top total pace. Really, the 1, 2, and 7 look like, from a pace standpoint, the class of this field. Terry, kind of a toss-up between those 3. Which one did you decide on?
Okay, well, I like the 1 evaluation. She won her debut race, and she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Then I like the 7 Sweet Anniversary. She has won 2 races in a row and is now going for a hat trick, and she has a good 4 furlong workout on August 23rd. The 5 is my third choice. She won her last race at Gulfstream Park, switches to high percentage winning jockey, and she has a high percentage winning trainer. The 2 Cruise to Catalina is my long shot. She ran second versus similar in her last race. Her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starter, and she has a bullet workout on August 23rd at 5 furlongs.
I'm going to go with the 1 horse too. I mean, I really don't want that 1-to-1 favorite, but if that horse builds at all on its debut win, it's a walk-away laugher in here. The only question mark is that rail, so I'm certain Irad will get that horse to a good spot. Cruise to Catalina, the repeat of its debut, would be good enough to give evaluation all it can handle. The workouts since the second career start are hot, so maybe a nice bounce-back race in the cards today. Sweet Anniversary, this one has been running over at Finger Lakes. Has not been challenged over there, but I'm not the biggest fan of track risers, although the workouts at Saratoga are decent enough for consideration. And then finally, the 5 horse Nolita. That's the, well, I should probably go in the 5 horse field with the 6 horse Duck Fat. That's the way all the bettors play it. But anyway, I gave this one a little bit of a nod over the 6 horse because it's run less races, and the races that have run so far are better than what the 6 has done. So more upside with better performances to date. Race 4, Terry, is the next thing that we're going to go through.
Yeah, that's right. And it's going to be gone at 1 mile and the 16th on the inner turf. It's a maiden claiming race, $75,000 claiming price per $60,000. And it's for maidens, 3-year-olds and upward.
1 mile and a 16th within the inner turf surface. Closers are going to find their way most likely to the winner's circle, but 14% still managed to get to the front and stay there. A bit of a rail bonus for Hurricane Express. The rest of the post positions play a little bit under par. So really, the 1 horse, Hurricane Express, makes sense in your plays. Really give that one some second consideration. Again, another race, Terry, where pretty much all of them can get to the front if they want.
That's right. Take a look here. You can see that the most of them show speed, but the 2 and the 4 have the most speed, and they could go head-to-head to that quarter pole. And then that 3 has an overlay from 8-5 to 3-1. And the 4 has an overlay from about 8-5 also to 9-2. And then the 4, 3, 2, and 1 have par plus numbers, and all of them show C zones.
Indeed. As far as C zones are concerned, we're looking for something over 50%. So Steadfast Resolve, the only one that's very likely to get a trip to its comfort zone today. Really, nobody wants to be on the lead. Everybody mostly middle back. The 4 and the 6 so far not within 5 lengths of the leader. I know that the surface bias is to be a closer in here, but with all those horses wanting to come off the back, if you can get to the front on a reasonable pace, you got a good chance to maybe take them wire to wire. Looks like the 2 and the 4 will have the best chance to do that. At the end, if closers do come through, as they have so far, Steadfast Resolve, that one's going to be pretty far back, though, relative to everybody else. So maybe you might want to look at these 3 in here as they'll be a little bit closer to the front. Top total pace horse, you got the 1, the 4. Well, the inside 4 horses. 1, 2, 3, 4. Terry, should we just line them up like that?
Yeah, we could. So anyway, are you ready for me to go with mine?
Fire away, brother.
Okay, number 5, Sanborn is my first choice. He ran second versus similar in his last race. Has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And then Artemis, yeah, the 3. He drops in class today. His best earth speed is fast as Monk Today starters, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And then I like Hurricane Express, the 1, finished third versus similar in his last race. He has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and they added blinkers today to keep his mind on business. Number 2, Mr. Flowers, is my long shot. He finished second in his last race, only losing by a neck, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. That's it for me.
Yeah, I think you could take your pick for the winner at the top of the ticket between the 3 and the 4. I'm going to put the 4 on top. It's had a few less races than the 3 horse, means it has a little bit more upside. Steadfast Resolve, the 7 horse, is a maiden special weight dropper, and quite frankly, it's as good, maybe better, than all of the other horses that have already dropped to the maiden claiming ranks and didn't win. And then finally, Sanborn, the 5 horse, was a tough call for me over the 1, Hurricane Express, but those 2 have faced off against each other. That was in the last race. The 5 beat the 1, and I think the 5 has more room to improve than the 1, as does Terry, as he put it at the top of his ticket.
All right.
Race 5 begins the middle part of today's 11 race card. Take it away.
6 furlongs, claiming race, $25,000 claiming price, a purse $60,000 for fillies and mares 4 years old and upward.
6 furlongs, the kind of horse that gets to the winner's circle, has early speed. 31 out of 100 have enough speed to take them from gate to wire. The post position wise, there is a little bit of a rail bonus for hazardous humor. 2 through 7, they get penalized a little bit. And then 8 and out's the best place to be. So a barbell speed race. Terry, show me some speed on the inside, or give me a Buffalo Girl on the outside with some giddy up and go. Where do we find the gas?
Well, they're all of them show some kind of speed, but that middle horse, the 4, and the outside horse, the 8, almost outside, are the 2 with the most, so they could go head to head to that quarter pole. The 3 has an overlay from 8 to 5, 10 to 1. The 5 has an overlay from about 8.5 to 1 to 10 to 1. All of them show par plus numbers, and all show C-zones numbers, and some of the Q30s are pretty nice at 21%.
Yeah, a bunch of them showing that they want to be forward and have a chance to stay up in there. Looking at the race shape, let's see what kind of, well, all these horses want to be middle forward. By golly, if the 6 horse has any hope to win this race, it's going to be if everybody else here burns itself out. The 4 horse, too, the Lone P, got to look out for those Sesame Street horses that are unlike all of the others. At the start of the race, we do see a pretty competitive beginning there, Terry. Look at all these horses within a few points of each other. You get bumped, you get forced wide. You could be first, or you could be at the back of the pack. So you better have some late energy as well. Backed by Gold, she's a little edgy. It takes heart. Again, very competitive in terms of at the end of the race, minus maybe the 6 and the 9. So we take a look at our top total pace combinations. You got 3 horses here that are about 3/4 of a length better than everybody else, with the 3 and the 8 topping that list. Terry, who tops your list?
Well, she's a little edgy as mine, the 8. She won her last race at Saratoga, and she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Golden Moonlight, the 2, is my second choice, has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 17% of the races when shipping a horse into run. She has a high percentage winning jockey, and she has a good workout on August 21st. And then 4, It Takes Heart is my third choice. She won 2 out of 3 races at Saratoga. Drops in class today. She has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. The 6, Malibu Moonshine, is my long shot. She drops in class today, switches to a high percentage winning trainer, and jockey, and can improve while returning to a sprint. And then I'm going to play the no favorite pick 4. I'm going to use the 246 with the 279 with the 149 with the 389, $40.50.
I'm going to play the no favorite 4 in here too, Terry. Same 3x3x3x3 strategy. which I kind of feel like I could have gone all the way through the card in the back half, especially. I'm going to begin with the 4-horse It Takes Heart as my top selection because this one does have the most back class, has the best Saratoga class by far, and it's not close. And the horse has run 3 times at Saratoga, taking home the top price in 2 of them. She's a little edgy. That one's likely to be your morning line favorite. And there it is, the most consistent horse in the race, so deserving of that status. And also deserving because the horse should be in the mix from the time the gates open to the time they take a photo at the end of the race. Number 3, backed by gold when the dollar was worth something. Second up record says a big bounce is on tap today in the second start after a layoff. Also your simulation favorite with a huge overlay there. Finally, Malibu Moonshine. This one's taking a big drop in class. I'd be much more inclined to put this one forward on the ticket if somehow the track got wet by then. 346, 279, 245, 8, 9, and 10 for my no favorite 4, just like you. $40.50. Similar thinking through the middle part of the card. Let's see what we think about race 6.
All right, let's go off to race 6, and it's a mile for maidens, $100,000 purse. Maidens 2-year-olds.
And, you know, babies, anything can happen with the babies. But so far at a mile, the kind of horse that it takes to win has some early speed, a bunch of them, 31%. Never see the backside of another horse. The closer you are to the rail, the better off you are. And that's probably because of this shoot and turn right over here. Those horses on the inside get to that turn. You got a good chance to kind of really fan those other horses out wide, Terry. So if getting to that turn is important, who's going to be the one that gets there first?
Well, all 3 of the speed, most speed is on the outside, the 8, 7, and 9. So they may get there first, but they're not going to push anybody out there except for each other. And then the 2 has an overlay from 7 to 2 to 10 to 1. All of them but the 3 and 5 have par plus numbers, and all but the 3 show some kind of C zones.
Yeah, a bunch of 2-year-olds. Who knows what's going to happen in this race? But we do know that so far, when they've run, most of them want to be middle back. This whole pack right here, 5 of the horses in the field, not within 5 lengths of the winner at the finish line. The 9 showed it wants to get to the lead, T-Craft. So keep an eye on that. Low knee, get to the lead. Look out. When you see a shape like this where so far everybody's not been close, or they want to run in the middle of the pack and back, being forward, very advantageous. Looks like Noble Confessor is the fastest of that bunch. That's about 8 points. Every 5 points equals 1 length. That one should get to the lead because most of the horses to the inside aren't all that fast, at least not at the beginning. Looks like they do have some of that late speed with Spurgeon and Filoso. Those 2 are about 2 lengths faster than everybody else down the stretch. 2 horse grades out as our top total pace horse, 1 length better than Noble Confessor. Again, though, 2-year-olds, limited resumes. So this data has a lot of volatility to it. Terry, hopefully there's no volatility in our picks.
I hope not. I like the 8 Noble Confessor. He finished 3rd versus similar in his last race, can improve at the longer distance, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. T-Craft, the 9th second choice, ran 2nd in his last race, has the highest last speed rating, and he has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 24% of the races when taking a horse from a sprint to a route. His best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters, and he has a high percentage winning jockey as well. 7 is my 3rd choice. He finished 4th in his debut race after being bumped at the start, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Filoso, the 2 is my long shot, finished 4th in his last race. He has a high percentage winning jockey and a bullet workout on the 22nd of August of 5 furlongs.
Yes, indeed. Where you end up, I'll begin. I'll begin with Filoso because if this horse improves in its 2nd career start, every reason to win this race, especially considering that inside to outside bias. And as you mentioned, does have a bullet workout. So why not take the inside horse with room to improve and a bullet work at the best price? Number 7, Contrabandist. This is another horse making the 2nd start after a layoff. And I feel like of all of the 2nd starters, this is the one that's most likely to get overlooked. Number 8, Noble Confessor. This is going to be your probable favorite in this race. Another where the 2nd race improvement would be enough to win. And finally, number 9, just missed at this level last out. And that race was a little bit shorter at 6.5 furlongs, where it gave up a 3.5 furlong lead in the stretch. So I don't know if going from 6.5 furlongs to a mile is the right choice. I think they should have probably shortened up a little bit, but I'm not a horse racing trainer. So what do I know, Terry?
I don't know. What do you know?
I know we're going to go to race 7, so let's do that.
Okay. Race 7 now coming up here. It's a mile and 16th on the turf. It's a maiden $100,000 purse for maidens 3-year-olds and upward.
Could they make the card a little bit more difficult by giving us any more maiden races, Terry? What do you think?
I don't think they could have. Yeah, pretty difficult.
No, this one's not on the inner turf. This is on the outer turf. So a mile and a 16th on the outer turf does favor stalkers. Still a small number, about 14-15% win on the front. The rail has been no good. In fact, the farther you are from the rail, the better off you are. So good tactical position in race number 7, Terry. But if you do want one that's going to go fast and perhaps go wire to wire, it looks like there's an obvious choice for that pick.
There sure is. It's number 5. He's got all the speed in the world compared to the rest of them. And then the 3 has an overlay from about almost 4-1 to 15-1. The 4 has an overlay from about 6-5 to 9-2. All but the 1 and 8 show par plus numbers, and all but the 1, 2, 3 show C zones, although that 8 is kind of low.
Yeah, you got these two right here, well over 50%. Looks like this Chow Chuck, man, wants to be on the lead. Is going to be on the lead, very comfortable on the lead. 45% of all the Quirin points. Again, he said bet those horses blindly. They produce a positive ROI. We look at the race shape here. The 2-horse Wheelhouse making its debut. All these other horses want to close. You got that Loney over there all by himself, Terry. Mm-hmm. Chow Chuck. Is Chow Chuck going to get the lead? Well, indeed, Chow Chuck is going to get the lead. Should be maybe 1 3/4 a length of have active mutiny. But it does look like it's going to have to find some late legs in this race or maybe get away with some soft fractions. At the end, Prime to Go, Inherit Promise, and Vintage Vino. They're the best of the bunch. Although Right to Vote's not too far off in terms of late speed. Our top total pace horses, 2 of them, Inherit Promise, Prime to Go, considerably better than Right to Vote or the Speedster. Chow Chuck. Terry, who's going to win this one?
I like the 9 Inherent Promise. He finished in the money in his last 3 races, running second versus similar in his last race, has a high percentage winning jockey. Then Vintage Vino, the 4, is my second choice. Ran second versus similar in his last race. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters. He has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Right to Vote, the 1, is my third choice. Finished third versus similar in his last race. Has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and the added Lasix this time. And then the 8 Active Mutiny is my long shot, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. No bets for me here.
I will start with the 4 Vintage Vino. Yes, some vintage wine. Only horse in this race so far that's actually managed to get a par race on paper. Again, when we do our simulations using the math, you see some other horses that can find their way there too. That horse had the check in that race. Otherwise, this horse would have graduated out of these ranks already. No check, and it cashes the biggest check today. Wheelhouse, the 2-horse, is my second choice. This horse has 2.85 points on my 3-0 scale for first-time starters and a back bullet work. Right there's that back bullet work, meaning that horse's trainer, Todd Pletcher, we know he knows what he's doing, wants to know what type of horse he has. Chow Chuck. Terry, I just can't overlook all of these numbers. I know the horses don't go wire to wire with all that speed, but it is a Loney, could get away with easy fractions, too high of a Q30 score just to pass at a price where this horse has an excellent chance on the right fractions to add to the wire-to-wire winners. And then finally, I'm going to go with number 9, Inherent Promise. This one, Terry, twice out, has hit our good friends Chris Parmalou's favorite betting angle of all. Maiden horses that finished second in their prior start. This horse has managed to do that the last 2 races. So let's see if the third time the Chris P angle can come through.
All right.
The late pick 4, Terry, starts in race number 8. Tell us what this one is all about.
Okay, it's 6 furlongs, claiming race, $10,000 claiming price, purse $28,000 for 4-year-olds and upward.
And 6 furlongs does require the horse have tactical speed. Being middle forward is the best place to be, but on the lead still gets you 30% of the time. the winner circle, there is a rail bonus for the rail horse Chateau. Well, that one's not probably on the rail, it's part of an entry, but the rail horse does indeed get a bonus. 2 through 7 are penalized. Again, 8 and out is the best. So show me some speed on the outside, Terry, or show me on the inside. You got a good chance to win. Chateau looks like it is the pace setter, though.
That's right. Most of them have speed, but that one shows them a lot more speed than the rest. And then the 4 has an overlay from 5 to 1 to 15 to 1, and the 9 has an overlay from about 3 to 1 to 6 to 1. All of them show par plus numbers, and all but the 3 show C zones.
Yeah, just looking at this number, and I put it in my notes. Any horse can win this race. So let's see if we can find an edge in the pace setup. Well, most of the horses want to be middle back. So maybe get one that goes forward at a distance where 30% win wire to wire. Does look like Chateau, Bourbon's Hope, American Jet. I mean, again, a lot of these horses just really in tight with each other. Expect a pretty aggressive opening in this race. So perhaps a horse with some late legs, afternoon heat, Bust and Shout, Emerald Forest, very competitive at the end of the race, too. This looks like, as my notes say, anybody can win. But more often than not, about 3 out of 4, a little less than 3 out of 4 winners come from the top 4 in our total pace picture. Terry, name your 4.
Okay, I like the 1, Chateau. He won his last race at Saratoga. Rail Pulse winning at a 19% clip. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters. He has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 25% of the claiming races. He has a horse running in, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. Look at all those boxes he marks off. Then the 3 Hatch is my second choice, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Charge and Ariel is my 9 horse, is my third choice. He won his last race at Saratoga and has a high percentage winning trainer. The 4 Emerald Forest is my long shot, has a high percentage winning jockey, and his best start speed is fast.
That's the 8 horse.
Huh?
That's the 8 horse.
That's what I said, didn't I?
Oh. I thought you said the 4, but that's okay.
Oh, I probably did.
You probably meant your 4th pick, but yeah.
Yeah, it's the 8 horse. And his start speed is fastest among today's starters. He's actually tied with the horse above that I talked about. And then I'm going to play a regular pick 4. I'm going to use the 1, 3, 8, 9 with the 6, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to single the 8. And then I'm going to finish up with the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8 for $48.
You should put the 7 in there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Forget the 8.
Oh.
Keep those numbers in order. I'm going to begin with the 9 horse. Charging Arrow as my top selection. Like I said, anybody can win this race, Terry. So this one last time out had all sorts of issues during the race. Still managed to win. So perhaps a better race today without as many issues, though. In a deep field, a bunch of problems can pop up. Chateau and Afternoon Heat, really either one of those entries can win this race. I think in a very competitive spot, getting 2 for 1 means you're going to get much lower odds than you probably should if either one of them are out in the race alone. Emerald Forest, the 8 horse, is my third selection in here. This horse is got claimed, going to drop in class off that claim, and has some of the most back class in the race. And I'm going to go Bust and Shout. Let's turn this mother out. This one's been effective at Saratoga, 2 times out with a win and a third. And if you look at the class at Saratoga, it's just as good as any horse in this field, including the very likely 1 and 1A favorites. Got a few minutes to go to the second race, Terry, so we can probably make our way through race number 9. Let's give it a try.
All right, we sure will. And it's going to be a mile. It's an allowance race, $95,000 purse for 3-year-olds and upward. Pulled in New York State and approved by the New York State Bred Registry, which have never won $20,000 other than maiden claiming or starter, and which have never won 2 races.
Yeah, and a mile, again, the type of horse that wins. Again, you got to be kind of fast at a mile. Be in the middle of the pack and forward at the quarter-mile marker. If you're on the lead, you got a better than 30% chance to stay there. There is a bias from the inside to the outside. So at 1 mile on the Saratoga dirt course, if you're fast and you're on the inside, you got a fast track to the winner's circle, Terry. I don't know. Again, another race is very competitive at the start.
It's it's anyone's guess again. The 8, 6, 9, and 3 all have similar speeds, so you just don't know who's going to get that quarter pole first. The 3 has an overlay from 6 to 1 to 10 to 1, and the 6 has an overlay from 7 to 5 to 9 to 2. All but the 1, 4, and 5 have par plus numbers, and all of them have C zones.
Another one of those races where the simulations tell us anybody can win, Terry. Our race shape for race number 9, most of the horses want to be in the back again. So get to the front. You got a great chance. It enhances your opportunity to win. Looks like Noon Zio, the 8 horse, might be the quickest of them all, Terry, at the beginning. He's a closer, too. We call those left arrow horses.
Yep.
They move from the left to the right in terms of the speed chart. Look out for him. Well, he's going to have some more late speed at the end. Skylar Starship does have that most late speed, is an EP type, so one of the most flexible horses in the race, if not the most flexible. That flexibility grades it out as the top total pace horse in here. That one's 12 points clear of everybody else, Terry, in what looks like a wide open race on paper. The pace tells a whole different story. Skylar Starship, one that you should really be circling your bets around.
All right. Well, I like in this race Skylar Starship, the 6, as you were referring to. Ran 4th in her last race as the favorite, but has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 28% of the races when bringing a beaten favorite back again, and has a good workout on August 23rd. Bob John Ray, the 10, is my second choice. Finished in the money in 3 out of 4 career races, winning one of the starts, and she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Nunzio is the 8. She won her debut race at Saratoga, and she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. She's my third choice. And Bad Larry, the 9, is my long shot. She finished 3rd versus similar in the last race. You know, I think these are males, aren't they?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, at Saratoga, and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. I'm sorry. She finished 3rd versus similar in her last race at Saratoga, has a high percentage winning jockey, and a good 5 furlong workout on August 22nd.
I'm going to put the 8 on top. Second race improvement for Nunzio puts him in the winner's circle. Last race was bumped, ran wide, and still geared down at the end of the race. This horse has a lot more than it showed in an easy debut win. Skylar Starship, the 6 horse, smoked the field in his lone Saratoga start and does have some electric late pace at times, which could be the difference in this race. Bob John Ray, I think this horse could be sitting on its career best performance in the second start after a layoff today. Just missed the best performance last time out. Second career start, nice bump over the first one. And then Bad Larry at Saratoga 4 times, 3/3. I think this horse is a much safer pick if somehow it rains by that time we get there. I'm hoping that I'm right about that 8 horse with a lot more than it showed in its troubled trip in its debut. I made it my 20-10 today. 20 to win, 10 to place on Nunzio. Hopefully we get 5-1 odds, and it comes from your winner.
I hope so. That's a good name, too. I like that name.
Well, tomorrow, Terry, we might not like the names we see at Kentucky Downs because anything, I mean, it's like a whole race card of 2-year-olds, but if you don't want to miss Tom and I make fools out of ourselves or make sages of ourselves, how do you not miss that show?
Well, you need to subscribe to the our YouTube show here and hit the little bell, and that'll notify you about when that program's coming up. And then take and copy the link down at the bottom and share that with all your friends, neighbors, relatives, so they can come check us out too. Go to our social sites such as X, Facebook, YouTube, Threads, and Instagram at Horse Race, the number 2 day, and give us thumbs ups and likes, and go ahead and give us some comments and some picks during our shows. It really helps us out. And I'm going to tell you, in the first race at Kentucky Downs today, a long shot, number 10, won it, $31.36, and it won it by about 10 lengths.
No, when is that not unusual, right?
Yeah, the exacta for $1 paid $206.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to start Kentucky Downs. I mean, it's not surprising whatsoever at all. So the 1 horse, Awesome Anne Marie, in the second race has got the lead right now. Neither one of us have that in our 1, 2, 3 pick 4s, so we're going to need something to go by it. Right now, the 4 and 6 are trying their best to do just that before making up some ground. The 6 looks like it's tailing off a little bit, although the 1 horse looks like it's going to be very difficult to get by. You got the 7 horse right now. That is the favorite, making an aggressive move, trying to go wide over everybody else, but the jockey's asking that one to work. So might be another race where the horse that gets to the front can stay in the front with that horse in second place, really trying to trying to find its way around that horse. I don't know that he's going to be able to do it. The 4 horse is trying like hell to get by the 1. The 7 horse now on the outside, as those two look like they have passed the 1. Those two are dogging it out with each other. It does look like the 7 is going to edge out the 4 horse, who's going to edge out the 1. So this race is going to go 7 and then 4, then 1, and then 6. 7, 4, 1, and 6 in the second race as we move on to the second leg of our 1, 2, 3 pick 4. I should have just went with my top 2 picks there and saved some of the more for down the stretch there, but I felt like that race was kind of open. So we have race 9, 10, and 11 to go. Is that right, Terry?
No, we have race 10 and 11.
All right, good. Just the daily double to finish up this week on Terrific Terry Thursday. So let's get starting with the finishing with the grade 3 with anticipation stakes.
It's a mile and 16th, and it's on the inner turf, and it's a grade 3 race. It's a $175,000 purse for on the inner turf for 2-year-olds.
And a mile and a 16th on the inner turf, not to be confused with the outer turf. Again, closers do well. 14% of the time, though, you still can get to the front and stay there. A bit of a rail bonus for Nudge for the Rapoli stable. Great stable there. Rest of the horses, they play a touch under par. So again, Terry, you probably want horses with late speed. Is there anybody in here with a big enough advantage that maybe you can get away? It doesn't look like it.
No, they all have pretty much speed except for a couple of them. And so you got the 6 and the 4 show the most speed. They may try to go to that quarter pole first. Oh, I'm sorry. Not 6, 4. The 9 and the 1 and 2 and 3. I was looking at the wrong column here. And then the 3 has an overlay from about 8 to 5, 6 to 1. All of them show par plus numbers, and the 1, 9, and 2 all have C zones.
Yeah, Nudge with the strongest comfort zone, although you got a couple of foreign invaders in here, so you don't really know what their comfort's going to be because we don't really have any data on them. We do know, just taking a look at things, pretty balanced race in here. You got the 2 and the 7, some PC types. You got a lone P closer in here. So this field should be pretty much lined up the way it wants. Here's your 2 foreign invaders. Of the horses with American experience, the 9, the 1, and the 2, pretty similar out of the gates. At the end of the race, the 3 and the 9 are pretty similar out of the gates. Those 2 do grade out as your top total pace horses that have run on this side of the Atlantic, although I suspect the 7 and the 8, 1 or 2 or both of them could have a say in the outcome in this race. Terry, what do you say?
Okay, I like in this race the 8 Cavallo Bay. He comes in from Europe, and after winning the last 2 races there, trained by Charlie Appleby, who wins 66% of the first race route that he has a horse run in, and he has a high percentage winning jockey, and he's my pick of the day. And then number 2, Without Caution, is my second choice. Won his debut race at Saratoga, has a high percentage winning jockey, and 4 furlong workout on August 18th, which was pretty nice. Then the 7 Zulu Kingdom is my third choice. Comes in from France after winning his debut race there, and he has a high percentage winning trainer here, Chad Brown, and high percentage winning jockey Flavin Pratt, who won, I think, Jockey of the Week, didn't he, this last week? So. Anyway, he had 3 grade 1 wins and a grade 3. So anyway, and then my long shot is the 3 Test Score. He won his debut race at Saratoga, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. I'm going to bet $10 to win and 20 to place on number 8.
I'm going to begin with number 7, Zulu Kingdom. This one, as you mentioned, Terry, comes in from St. Cloud, as our good friend Tom says, on Foreign Fridays. Again, tomorrow, Foreign Friday. Is it Foreign Friday here in the U.S. with the European-style racing at Kentucky Downs, where 30-1 shots went on top. But anyway, and that was a top, St. Cloud is one of the top tracks in France, so that's a pretty positive thing. In that race, not only did he win, but the third-place horse came back to win as well. And when you look at the turf breeding relative to the rest of these, it's off the charts. Tenacious Leader, the 9 horse. This one is a Todd Pletcher horse. You know, Pletcher's a pretty good trainer in here. He's wanted this horse on turf. It got scratched off the turf, moved to the dirt last time. Both of his races, this horse has been like the 6-5 favorite. We're going to find out why Pletcher wants this one on grass today, and I don't think there's any chance that you can get 10-1 odds. So if you like the 9 horse, Tenacious Leader, and you're in a place where you can play fixed odds and get something close to 10-1, I might consider doing that. Cavallo Bay. This one is likely to be the favorite. As you mentioned, Charles Appleby, that guy wins just about everything, no matter where he runs horses. That one was running at mid-level tracks in Europe and in England. I would like to see it running at the top-level tracks. The horses he faced, however, in a lot of his other races did come back to win as well, so some key races for that one. And then Test Score, the 3-horse, was a tough call for me over the morning line favorite. Oh, no, the morning line favorite is Cavallo Bay, so never mind. I thought the 2 was going to be one of the favorites. So one of the morning line favorites. But I think the move from a sprint to a route favors the 3 over the 2-horse in this race. Last race of the day is the 11th spot, Terry. A lot of races today at Saratoga. We started with 5.5 furlongs on the turf, and we're going to end with
5.5 furlongs on the turf. And it's a maiden $100,000 purse, and it's for maidens 3-year-olds and upward.
Yeah, and like we saw in that first race, man, you get to the front, you got a good chance to win. Stalkers do great too, but 1 out of 4 go wire to wire. Post positions doesn't really matter where you start from. Just matters that you start fast, Terry, and hopefully there's a few in here that'll start faster than the others.
Well, there's 2 that have most of the speed, the 6 and the 4, as you can see there, and the rest of them don't have as much speed compared, so that 6 and 4 could go head-to-head. The 4 has an overlay from about 5-2 to 20-1. The 5 has an overlay from 9-1 to 10-1. The 7 has an overlay from 7.5 to 1 to 15-1, and the 9 has an overlay from 8-1 to 15-1. All but the 1 and 8 have par plus numbers, and 6, 1, 7, and 8 have C zones.
Bunch of babies in here. Anything can happen. What's happened so far is the 3, 5, and 9. Well, nothing's happened for them as they're going first out. Pretty balanced race in here. You got a couple that want to be in the front, a couple that want to be in the middle, a couple that want to be in the back. No idea what these 3 are going to do. So far, at least, it does look like Speed Figures, Call Bob, along with Reverend Moon, they're likely to want to be more to the front as the race gets going. As the race comes to a close, Credit Worthy, that one's about almost 2 lengths better than everybody else down the stretch. So that one's remotely close coming out of the turn. Could be difficult for the rest of this field to hold them off. Does grade out as one of our top total pace horses with Speed Figures, Credit Worthy, Zeka Diablo, Call Bob. I mean, really a pretty close race in here. It's only 13 points. Again, no idea what these 3 are going to do. So, I think getting a good trip will be important, although I do think, like you, there's 2 horses that are likely to catch the eye of most bettors.
That's right. Well, I start out with Credit Worthy. The 2 ran second in his debut race as the favorite, but has a high percentage when trainer wins 28% of the time when he brings the beaten favorites back to race again. Has a high percentage winning jockey. I like the 6 Speed Figures. He ran second versus similar on dirt. In his only start, he has the highest last speed rating. His breeding suggests he'll like the grass, as his dam has 3 winners from 5 starters with 1 turf winner, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. The 3 Summer and Aaron is my 3rd choice. First-time starter whose breeding suggests that he'll like the grass, and the breeding also suits today's sprint distance, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Call Bob, the 4 is my long shot. He ran second on the dirt in his last race, but his early speed running style will help his chances, and so the shorter distance may just really help.
So in the 11th race, I think the 2 choices are obvious for the bettors, the 2 and the 6. Take your pick on which one you think will improve most in the second start of its career. I'm going to go a little off the path after that with the 9-horse. Liberté de Bayou. I hope I got that one right. This one does have the top breeding for turf. Got to like that. Has the back bullet workout. And then gets Kendrick Camouche. So if that horse can somehow pop to the lead in this short race, Kendrick knows how to keep them up front. And then number 5, Ink Lies, the last pick for me on this week, notwithstanding our choices tomorrow at Kentucky Downs. But I feel like you can never overlook a Wesley Ward horse in a short turf sprint, although the jockey choice is kind of curious to me. So maybe that's a tell that it's not one of the better sprint horses for Wesley Ward. All right, Terry. So here are all of our picks for today, including how we would play any of those. I forgot to put mine over here, but I'm pretty much going to go with my top 2 picks all the way down. I Didn't really feel like I was too favorite heavy today, so I'm comfortable with that. Of course, the first 2 races are in the books. The winner in the first race was the 5, the 7 in the second race, with the 4 running second. Here's what we think about the rest of this day. Of course, we will timestamp everything in the description here at YouTube. Free picks also in the description at Fairgrounds today. Make sure you get that. If you want to check in on a replay, you can find that along with all of our comments over at horseracingtoday.net in just a minute. And then finally, while you're there, please click on the Horse Racing Today gear. Get yourself some wonderful football stuff or a nice autumn long sleeve shirt or hoodie before the weather turns south. You can do that for the next couple of days for 20% off. That's how much we like you. Winning picks and save you money, Terry. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great deal. I think you should rush there and get bunches of hats and shirts. So you have one for every time you go to the races. You can change.
Or every day of the week or every day of the year. Why not go there, right? Let's do that. 365, 7 days, 24 hours. That's a great idea. I'm all for that, Terry. I agree with you wholeheartedly. No disagreement from me on that at all. Well, we'll be back on Terry and I on Labor Day. Unfortunately, we'll celebrate. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, however you look at it. We will celebrate that day with Parks Racing as we do every Monday. Tuesday, we'll celebrate with Parks Racing. I have no idea what we'll do next Wednesday and Thursday. I suspect we'll probably do Kentucky Downs at least one of those days just to drive Terry nuts. But, that's not a long drive, as Tom likes to say. And then any final thoughts from you before we get up and out of here today?
Well, everybody just take it easy, be safe, give your loved ones a kiss and a hug and tell them how you feel because you never know what's going to happen. I hope the weather is great for you the rest of the week, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes,
or
indeed.
Monday.
On Monday. I'll see you tomorrow, but between the time I see you again, let's all try to live this day to our higher standards by the golden rule. And of course, no matter what your life entails today, make the most of the moment, and we certainly hope they are all blessed with God's grace and God's favor. Every single thing that you do today ends up in the
winner's circle.
Yes, indeed. And maybe your first love will call you back today. Have a great weekend. We'll see you tomorrow for Kentucky Downs and on Monday with Terry for Parks.